Hey guys, Adam here, and welcome to another episode of On the Couch Rewind. And now we are continuing X-Men Week. And since my last review, you could probably tell I was not looking for that I might not be a fan of this next X-Men movie. X-Men First Class. I am. I like this movie. This movie goes back to what I liked about X-Men, but with a little bit of a twist. So the plot is, this is the origin of the X-Men. This is where Xavier and Magneto first met and became best friends. How the world became aware of mutants, and how they started to hate mutants as well. All because of the Cuban Missile Crisis. But no, this movie's really good. I like this movie. When it was first announced, I was very skeptical, especially after X-Men Origins. I just felt like there was no way that they were going to make something good again. I am so glad I was wrong. Just to get the negatives out, or the positives, I'll get to the negatives in a minute. The positives of this movie are pretty high. Like, especially the acting. Acting is really good, and not just from its two leads, James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender. You also got Rose Byrne, Oliver Platt, Jennifer Lawrence, Nicholas Hoult, Kevin Bacon. I enjoyed the shit out of Kevin Bacon in this movie, and he was hamming it up. He was pretty much a Bond villain in this movie, and it was a lot of fun seeing his version of Sebastian Shaw. I know a lot of comic book X-Men fans are not going to be happy with this portrayal. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And it's definitely a very 1960s movie. This embraces the 1960s to a T. Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, I really like her performance in this. There are some people who don't, saying, "Oh, this isn't the Mystique that we saw in previous movies." That's because this is Mystique before she becomes Mystique. This is Raven Darkholme before she becomes Mystique. So yeah, she's gonna be different. Same thing with James McAvoy's Xavier. He's not the wise, brilliant professor. He's smart, but he's kind of a douche. He's a very sexually driven kind of guy, which I actually kind of like. It's definitely something different, seeing something different than what we see with Patrick Stewart. Michael Fassbender, on the other hand, is very much a young Ian McKellen, but here we actually see him like be given a chance to not be a villain, but he ends up becoming one anyway. But you get behind it, you see the shit that happens to him, especially in the concentration camp, and you get why he believes humanity will never accept them, which is understandable. I could get behind that. But God, Michael Fassbender is a badass in this movie. I really like Michael Fassbender in this movie. He is my favorite character in this movie. I mean, hell, if it was just a movie of him hunting Nazis, I would have been fine with this. It would have been the second time I saw Inglourious Bastards. But you know what? I love that movie too, so I'm down for that. Nicholas Hoult is a good Beast. I could believe he could be Beast, and which he is. I like the story. Again, the story is very 1960s. They were able to incorporate a very critical time in history to this story, and I really do like it. I like the action scenes. The action scenes were fun. Especially with Magneto. Magneto being a full-on badass is awesome. But yeah, you can definitely tell. I mean, yes, the movie is definitely really focused on the first incarnation of the X-Men coming together to help humanity. And humanity is actually willing to let them help them, but it's very evident that the prejudice is starting, because these people were just revealed to us, to kind of the government, which probably is not the best idea. but the government, it's very evident that these people never saw mutants before, so they don't know how to properly understand. They don't understand them. They fear them because they have powers they don't have, and they show it, and it's kind of sad, but it's understandable. It's human nature. And I like the little nod they did with William Stryker's character in this movie by having his father in it, William Stryker Sr. And he's just as bigoted, as narrow-minded as the Brian Cox character, not the Danny Houston one. I don't count that one. Like he was even willing to let the X-Men who they said is like, look, we will help you avert this crisis. It was like, yeah, blow them up. They're freaks. I don't care. And was even willing to let one of his own agents die. That shows that William Stryker Jr. is a chip off the old block. God. Now to get negatives. If there was one negative I have to say is January Jones. She just played it like she was bored out of her goddamn mind. I don't know whether that was meant to be the character, but I've read Emma Frost. I've seen Emma Frost. She's not like that. She's very intelligent. She's sexy, but she uses that to her advantage. And she kind of does that here, but she's not intelligent. She just acts bored. And I do feel like as January Jones is it's a comic book movie. I don't have to do anything. I don't even have to act. I'm just gonna be like this. I don't like her in this movie. I really don't. And other than that, I really like some of the other characters. Although some of the X-Men weren't really as utilized. Like, I mean, like we got Banshee, we got Havoc, definitely showing their thing. Sorry, my wings got here. All right, back to the X-Men. Yeah, some of the X-Men some of the mutants weren't really as utilized. They still got action scenes, but you didn't really care about them. You didn't care about them as much as like as some of the others, like Xavier and Magneto. I'm not saying that they were bad. They actually, and yeah, some people say like, oh yeah, these X-Men acted kind of annoying. They acted like teenagers. They still had very distinct personalities, and I liked that. But they were still teenagers, and I do like the fact that they were teenagers. It definitely goes back to the roots of the X-Men, who were teenagers. Despite what other some people tend to forget, is that they were teenagers. So yeah, X-Men First Class. I really don't know what else to say about this movie. Well, there is one other positive I could say, is that they don't clutter with mutants. They understand that Matthew Vaughn got what needed to be done. He saw. It's very evident. I think he did see like all the other movies and realized what needs to be done in an X-Men movie. They don't need to be cluttered. You don't need pointless cameos in these movies, and he got that. Yeah, I really do like this movie. Probably on the same footing as the first X-Men, I really do like this movie. So with that said, I give X-Men First Class an 8 out of 10. I was thinking about giving it a 7 until just now, but I really do like this movie. This movie is really good. I believe, and it's definitely a step up from X-Men, really huge step up from X-Men Origins Wolverine. Especially with the Wolverine cameo. It's like, go fuck yourself. I love that. I love that line. It's now become it's become his catchphrase now. Especially with the next movie I'll be reviewing. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Come here, you delicious chicken wings.